Alright goobers, we're back at it with the second open alpha, a year in the making, and I am back at it again making guides for the vehicles. Things have changed in that time frame. Now there are agents that have multiple vehicles. It is a bit confusing, but I do have plans to make videos on all the tanks, at least the ones that have progression. And starting us off, we have Hound and his Leo 1A6A1, previously known as Jaeger. Overall, his playstyle hasn't shifted much, and now he has a bunch of new modules that I would like to discuss today. It should also be mentioned that there may be nerfs for this vehicle in the future due to how strong it is, and I did keep that in mind when making this guide. First off, let's go over the early modules. These are the ones you're going to want to get before sinking a bunch of credits into Hound. It should be noted, even with just these modules, the tank is very viable. In the first slot, Bodenwush was my preferred module. It is very cheap, has a good amount of bombs, and a larger radius that helps with hitting targets behind cover. For the second ability slot, you can save your credits here for now and ignore this module. This is in part due to the fact that the explosion modules for the decoys don't seem to be working. However, in the future, I do believe Tarna Explosion will be a good choice for immobilizing enemies that are trying to rush you, as it's not only cheap but it has low energy cost. For the speed mod, Craftstub is a good choice and very useful. Nice to have even when you have your Hound max level. The hasten effect just feels really good. For the recon slot, the only real choice you have early on is Viper Aug for the increased zoom. However, you can choose whatever one you prefer. For the first firepower mod, Stahlbringer will be the ideal choice. However, if the Hound does get nerfed, then Eisenblitz will probably be the best choice. It should be noted that Eisenblitz will slow down Hound's aiming speed, which in general is already pretty slow to begin with. In that case, Panther Conan will feel better for players that generally fire on the move. For the final firepower slot, even after the nerfs, Panzertaud will be the best early option for this mod slot. Now, for my current build that I use, the first ability mod slot, I take Wolfenbomb. This is not so much for the damage that it gives, but for the 35% extra crit you get for about 3 seconds after using Trap Shot. However, when you use this mod, it is recommended to hold on to the ability until you see the side or rear of a defender with a bunch of health that you normally cannot one-shot. I use it to lock them down and then shoot them to maximize the damage against them instead of using the trap shot after I fire like you normally would to finish off people or stop them from advancing onto you. However, if you do not like holding onto your trap shot ability for the right moment, I also recommend Blitzregen, which has a huge radius. However, it won't be as good as Luftstrom for single target damage. Blitzregen is much better for a bunch of grouped up enemies. For the second ability slot, I use False Shields, just for the lower energy cost, but you can get away with running no second ability mod for this build. For the speed slot, I still run Craftstub. However, Frostrum is a good choice as it has no negatives. You just lose the haste on kill. For the recon slot, I still run Viper Aug. However, if you decide not to take a decoy mod, you can use the Umfang 400 for the extra zoom factor, or Thermshear 256 in order to have thermals, especially when enemies use smoke. For the first firepower mod, I use Wolfspiss. As long as you hit the minigame consistently, your reload is about 9 seconds, which is a second faster than without this mod, and the extra damage and engine crit multiplier allows you to sometimes one-shot other Hounds when they are running away. Even after the nerfs, I feel like this mod will still be good. I would also like to mention the Road Fast. This is a mod that feels good when you're fighting anything other than Hounds. This is specifically due to the fact that one-shotting other Hounds with the frontal ammo rack becomes more of a 50-50 instead of a guarantee. However, if you aren't consistent with hitting the frontal ammo rack anyways, this could be a good mod for you to pick up. However, if the nerfs prevent Hounds from being able to one-shot each other, this mod will become a better choice to get, as having 2 shots will always be better than 1 shot if, you know, the original 1 shot also cannot 1-shot you. For the final firepower slot, Blitzcannon will be the better option 90% of the time, not just for the damage increase, but the passive that comes with this mod is very good. If you're shooting people at even a bit of a distance, as 100 meters is actually a lot closer than you may realize in this game, you know, after you get a kill past 100 meters, with the mods that I'm running, I get about a 5-second reload, and Hunter's Mark will drop that reload down another second, giving you about a 3 to 4 second reload. If you're not running Wolf Abyss, this reload will be even shorter with a 3-second reload or 2-second reload with Hunter's Mark active. However, if you are running Road Fast and kill someone beyond 100 meters with either of the 2 shots, the reload will also be shorter while using this final mod. This will give you about a 5-second reload for the clip. And if you use Hunter's Mark, I think it's even lower. I think it's like a 2-second reload for both shells. Now, let's talk about the second build for Hound. It's what I like to call the smoke build. For the first ability slot, you can kind of just take whatever you want. However, for the second ability slot, you will need to take a noble trick. This deploys smoke when your decoy is destroyed, and this will become important later down the line in the build. For the speed mod, you can take Kraftstorm, but now Renpanzer is also a viable choice for the haste when you're in smoke. This is, you know, a decision you can make to see if you like it. I still prefer Kraftstorm. For the recon slot, you will need the Thermisher 256. It is required for the thermals, so that you can actually be effective in your own smoke. For the first damage mod, you can choose either between Blitz for the smoke when you get on low health, or Crucifer, which reduces your reload by 25%, which is a 7.5 second reload, but your damage is also lowered by 12%. You take a bit of hit on your penetration, however your penetration is really good regardless. However, when your vehicle is obscured, either by being in smoke or not being spotted, your damage is 15% higher, which is a net bonus of 3% damage for you. I will like to say, this mod is going to be a lot better of an option than Blitz. Blitz is nice, I just feel like this is the better option. For the final damage mod, you can either stick with Blitzkannon or the Schnufel, which does make you a bit slower, but makes your reload go down to 7 seconds instead. You do lose out the faster reload on the kills past 100 meters, but you do have better moving accuracy, and the passive is a bit different than the Crucifer, so the previous damage mod, where it's you who's obscured. Now it's if the enemy is obscured, or they're not spotted, it's 15% extra alpha damage. So in total, if you're covered in smoke and the enemy you're fighting is covered in smoke, it's a possible extra 18% damage in total. It should be noted though, for this build you can't run Wolfenbomb, the legendary mod slot for the trap shot, just because the energy cost is too high. It might not be exactly meta right now to run the smoke build, but I did find it quite fun to use. And with the possible Hound nerfs in the future, I do believe it will become more meta. A few things that should be noted about Hound is, as of the production of this video, there is a bug with Trap Shot where after the first use in a life it will automatically go off, which can definitely catch you by surprise if you're not used to playing around this bug. Another bug that you may notice in the background footage is when Wolfsbiss and Blitzkannon is being used and you get a kill past 100 meters, it will permanently give you the reduced reload time until you die. However, even without this bug, if you can one-shot people at range, you boost your DPM by a crap ton. When it comes to playstyles, It is similar to the first alpha, however being hyper-aggressive is not always the best choice now for Hound, as he is more susceptible to being 1 or 2 shot by a bunch of vehicles, which means that you will have to pick and choose your fights more carefully, and play it more kind of like a flanker, and take out distracted targets. However, not everyone likes this playstyle, and the great thing about Hound is he is flexible, so if you do prefer the sniping playstyle, he is perfect for that. Just remember, since you aren't going to be moving around as much, it's best to find a position where you can hide your hole as much as possible in order to prevent yourself from being ammo racked. And also plan ahead as well. Especially as a match progresses, you will constantly need to reposition in order to find the best spots to snipe from in a fast-paced environment of the game, where 1 second one cap has a bunch of people, and then the next second they're all on the other side of the map. With this gameplay that I'm showing right now, I do kind of just want to highlight, you know, what I mean by you kind of just got to keep moving around on Jaeger. This game specifically was domination, and unfortunately for the enemy team, this is the field spawn, so the first base was in the field, and this is kind of where Jaeger shines. This is what I was talking about with the trapping shot mod. You can see I essentially just killed that Ember from full health, like it was nothing. It's that extra 35% crit allows me to do things like that. But you notice I'm just trying to kind of keep myself hidden, not make myself too much a target, especially since there is the AGDS in this game, and that thing can melt me if it kind of just looks in my general direction. So I'm kind of on this hill just to essentially have a way out in case I need to disappear. But this is right here is where, you know, Jaeger really shines. It's just being ignored, right? But you can also see this is where the combo of the 2 mod slots at the end come into play. The 2 damage mod slots, where they're kind of working off of each other. You do notice that I'm not using the Hunter's Mark, and that's just because I don't feel like it's a necessity in this situation. You won't notice though, like, I keep inching closer and closer towards the center of the map as the new spawn is coming in, because I do want to be the first one there, essentially, to get points. This is more of a closer range fight. Just in general, this shows like the flexibility of Hound. You know, I can be in these close range fights or closer range fights and feel more comfortable. But this is, you know, another example of the combination. Unfortunately, I do get got there, but thankfully, with the way this game is, you know, I'll just respawn and go again. Overall, Hound has been pretty fun to play. There's other vehicles that I feel like I enjoy just a little bit more because I'm not super keen on the sit in the back kind of play style. I'm definitely more of an aggressive player, which is why the XM190 is a little bit more suited to me. Even Chopper is a little bit more suited to me than Hound. However, you know, as everyone knows, Hound is a little bit broken right now when it comes to damage. You know, just dishes out so much damage. It's almost a little goofy not to play a few games a day of Hound, just based off of the amount of damage you can dish out. But you do notice that, you know, I'm kind of using the training cover to not brawl anymore. Like, you can't brawl as much as like old Jaeger, but flanking is definitely a viable option, trying just to catch people that are distracted. You do see there kind of the highlight of Jaeger doesn't have the best like aiming speed when it comes to brawling anymore, so the mid-range engagements are definitely a lot more difficult, and you kind of see me get got here. I was too early on the trigger. I tried to run away from one, and there was another, and I would have died to the to the airstrike regardless. But this game is essentially coming to the wraps. I don't think I really did anything too special in this match per se, right? I don't think this is anything that you know, no one can do. I feel like any player could accomplish this. But that's all. Have a good one.